Hello, this is Bill Webb, aka Billy Indiana. Today I'm going to demonstrate a solo playthrough for a recent game from Stonemaier Games. It is called Smitten. This is an 18 card game that's cooperative for 2 players, but it has a solo mode. So if you're curious to see how that solo mode plays, stay tuned. All right, so the goal of Smitten is to play these 18 cards out in two 3x3 grids, and every card has a number in the top corner, and so it's kind of like a phone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you have to place them in order so that it creates the picture you see here on the cover. And this is just kind of a thick paper envelope that comes in, and the only thing that's in the box are the 18 cards and the little rules pamphlet. One side has the solo rules, one side has the cooperative rules for 2 players, and then there's just a little sleeve to keep the cards together in there if you want. Was there for shipping. And so the way you play the cooperative 2-player game is you put one card to the side and then give each player 4 cards if you're playing easy mode or 3 cards if you're playing normal mode. And then they have to say only, I can play a card, I can't play a card, I don't want to play a card. They're very limited on what they can say, and then they have to decide who's going to play a card into the grid. And then the other player has to follow the rules that are at the bottom of the card that was played by their teammate. And at any point, if you can't do that, if you can't place orthogonally adjacent to a played card, or you can't follow the directions on the card, you're going to lose. And so you're cooperating back and forth with limited communication to try to build these 2 3x3 grids. In the solo mode, the goal is the same, but the way you set it up, let's take one off the bottom because I forgot to do it. So we take one and set it aside, and then we turn 1 over, or 2 over face up, and 1 face down. So it's kind of like player 1, and then another one, 2 face up. Don't want you to think I'm cheating here. And then 1 face down. And then so we've got basically the cards for our 2 players, but we're making the decisions for both. All right, so that's the setup. And so now as a solo player, I can see this player 2 of their cards and this player 2 of their cards, and I can't see the third. And the rule is that whenever you play a card, like if this player leads, I get to flip this one over and then play the second one. Some cards are better to be played early in the game. Some cards are better to be played late in the game. Some cards are just hard to play at any time. And so this one, number 8, says your player must place a card in this grid. And so I'm looking to see, is there even a card that could be played with this 8? And neither of these could. So I'd have to flip this one over and hope it works. This one says your player must play a card in either grid and trigger its effect. And so if I look at this one, your partner must reveal the top card of the deck, then place it in either grid. So if I played this one, I could play this one in either deck, but then I would have to flip this over and hope it works. And if it doesn't, we would lose. So that's pretty risky. Possible, but risky. This one, your partner must place a card in either grid, but no other card with that number may already be played. That's a good one to play right now because there aren't any being played. So I'm going to say the player on the right goes first. And we'll just have them start the grid here on the right. It's the 6, so it fits, where a 6 would be on the phone, right middle row. And then because I took one from this player, this one gets to flip over. And it says your partner must place a card in either grid, so I can put one here or here, with that number, but no other card with that number may be played. So I couldn't play a 6 since the 6 has been played, but I can play any other number I want. I don't really like the corner cards to start off with very much because there's only 2 that can go beside it. So any of the T-shaped middle row, middle column are better in my opinion. This one's kind of hard sometimes because you have to play, the other player has to play their card and trigger the effects, which could be tricky. So I'm just going to, when you play one, the other person just places one. And so we don't follow the instructions on that second card. All right, so the round is over. This player went first. So we take the deck of cards, and they still have one face down, so we're going to put one face up for them, slide this over, and then one face down for them. And they go on to the next round. And you don't have to alternate turns between the 2 players. Either one can go first, both in the 2-player cooperative and the solo. So now let's see. What do we got? I got both number 1s out. Your partner must reveal one card from their hand and place it in the grid. That one's not too bad. Let's see, though. Where can I play? So this one, I can't play this one here, but I could play this one there. And this is a good one to maybe get out early. So let's do that. Let's do This player is going to do this one. It can go right beside the one. You always have to play orthogonally adjacent to a card that's already out there. And so it's 1, 2. Your partner must reveal one card from their hand and then place it another card in the grid. So we were going to reveal it anyway in the solo mode rule, so there's not much gained or lost there. But if you get towards the end of the game and you have to reveal one, and you only have to reveal one and play another. If you only have one left, you would lose because you can't follow the directions. So we got that out of the way. I could play any of these now. The 7 won't play and the 1 won't play, but the 3 will. And the 3 says your partner must reveal the top card of the deck and then place it in either grid. Early in the game, that's tricky. There may not be enough spaces to place it. So let's just get that one out here because it said place it in either grid. So we're going to place it over there. All right. So that is the second round. And now this player went first, so they draw first face up, and then this player went and then face down. All right. So now let's see what we've got. So these 2 cards can't even be played. They're not going to be orthogonally adjacent to the cards in either grid. So this player is going to have to lead. And unless I was going to risk it, I could flip this over and just try to play it. This player can only play this one and only in this grid. So it says your partner must place a card in either grid, but then neither player may draw cards next turn. That could be pretty tricky, but let's see. If we played that, then the next round, even though we wouldn't draw, the partner must place a card in this grid. That works, so let's do that, all right? Because this one is a 7 and it's 8 and 9. So let's do that. This player is going to lead and play the 9. And so now we got 3, 6, 9. We got that whole far right column done. Your partner must place a card in either grid, but neither player may draw the cards this turn. Okay, so we did this player place, so this one flips over so we can see what it is. Okay, it's an 8. And now, let's see, we want to make sure we do this right. So they must place a card in either grid, but neither player may draw. All right, so, oh, wait a minute, I might have done that. No, that's right, that's right. I got a little lucky though. I was thinking through it not clearly. So this player is going to play it here, and then now we don't draw. So this player's got 1 visible and 1 not visible, and this player has 2 that we can see. All right. So I may have really messed myself up here. Let's see if there's any way we can resolve this. I'm going to probably have to get lucky here. So I read that card and thought through it backwards. So yeah, might be stuck. All right. So this card can't be played. This card can't be played. So this player has to play this card. And it says your partner may place a card in either grid. It's a 7, so it completes that bottom row. So I can't play this one, so I'm going to have to turn this over and hope I get lucky. So let's see what it is. 4. Now I can play it in either grid. And it just so happens that it will play right there. According to that, it says in the, oh no, it says in the other grid. So, whew, double lucky. All right. So I got really lucky after a mental faux pas there, but now we fill back up. All right. So let's see. This player went first that time. So they're going to go face up, face down, and this one's going to go face up, face down. And you can see we're only down to 3 cards left here. So the game is getting close to being over. Let's see. Can we survive this one? Can I not make any more big mistakes? All right, let's see. The 8 can't be played at this point. The 5, it says choose a higher or lower. The partner must place a card in the other grid that's higher or lower. So I know what they have. And this one's tough. It says your partner must place a card in either grid so that it completes a row or column. So if I play this 5 here, that works. And I'm going to say lower, and this one can flip over. And then 4 is lower than 5, and they're going to play that here. So where they are placing that in that grid. We survived another round. All right, this player went first, so they get a face-up card. This player has 2 face-ups, so they get a face-down. There's only 1 left over here. Now, this 1 sit out of onto the side. We don't know what it is, but if we're able to place the 17th card, we don't have to follow its instructions. We just get to put this in for free to sort of fulfill the picture, finish the picture. All right. So let's see. I could play the 1. Your partner must reveal 1 from their hand and place it in either grid. That's pretty flexible. Let's see. Your partner must place a card in this grid. So if I put that there, they could do the 7. Place it in the other grid. I think we're going to be pretty good here. The 6 is one that's tough because you can't place a card that's already showing. So I don't want to lead with that one. This one says your partner must place 1 in the other grid. So I couldn't do the 6. Reveal 1 and then place in either grid. Let's do that one. So we're going to place this one. They have to reveal 1, which they would do anyway. All right. and then they're going to place one. So placing the 6 is pretty good because this would be a tough time to try to have to follow the instructions on the 6. So let's do that. So they've got one face down. They led, so they're going to get this one face up. So now we've got 2 for this player and 3 for this player, 1 unknown. All right. So this one is placed in this grid. So the 9 or the 7 could both place in this grid. That would be fine. This one is reveal the top card from the deck. There aren't any more, so we don't want to lead with that. This one is we don't draw next turn, which would be fine. There are no more cards to draw, so that would be okay. Your partner must place a card in the other grid. We couldn't do this 3 or the 8 in the other grid, so we can't play that one. The 9 would work. And the 8 would work. So let's go with the 9. Put it here. And then the other player is going to place the 3. And it says either grid, so we'll place it there. But we can't draw, which is fine because there's no more cards to draw. All right, so now we're looking at what we've got left. We've got this player only has an 8. We've got a 7 and an unknown. So this one says your partner must place a card in this grid. That works with the 7. So we'll have this player lead, play the 8. This player has to play in the same grid, play the 7. So they can. We played the 8, we flip this one over, and so now that's a 2. So we've survived that round, and we're down to the 17th card. The 17th card can be played. We don't have to follow its instructions. And so we flip this one over to complete the picture, and we have our 3x3 grids completed. So that is how you play the solo mode. Now there are 2 hard modes. Let's see. The one hard mode says that if you play a card in that's the 5, which normally you can pick higher or lower, if you play it in the left grid, you must choose higher, and if you play it in the right grid, you must choose lower. So that makes it a little bit trickier. And then there's another hard mode. You may not play or place a card if it results in one of the grids having 2 or more cards than the other. So if I already have 4 cards in this grid, I can't place the 5th and the 6th card here because then it has 2 or more. So, and you can combine those hard modes as well. So, and then there's an easy mode, which I won't go into, but I think just playing normal mode is pretty easy. You're going to win most of the time. I've played this maybe 10 times solo, and I've only lost when I played double hard mode that one time. So most of the time, because you can see a fair bit of the cards, there, like this one, I made a dumb decision and had to get a little bit lucky. But you know, most of the time you can actually work your way through it. Double hard mode is tough though. Keeping it with balance each side, that's really tough. And I did lose when I tried the double hard mode. So there you have it. That's the solo mode of Smitten, how you play it. If you have any questions, leave those down in the comments below. If you enjoyed it, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. And it'd be terrific if you choose to follow the channel as well. As always, thanks for watching. This is Billy, Indiana, signing off.